Thank you, Mai. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, still Zoom is confounding me a little bit, so we should be off now. Of course, quite loud actually, isn't it? There we go. Right then, so let's get to some currencies to start with straight away, and what's going on here because we got the pound moving stronger as the Brexit kind of table tennis match goes back and forth as it has been doing for the last 4 years, and we also have got a weakening euro now. I've taken another trade in the euro today, so I'm building into this position, and one of the reasons I've built in here, and it could still go a little bit higher, but when we look at where the pivots are, it's just under this pivot point now. So price comes down, breaks through, and I'm just trying to get in at this particular point. And it's a longer term view. So my longer term view of the euro is that we break down. So I'm quite happy to start building into positions now. I want to see some confluence here as well. When you see this trend line, so we've poked through this trend line here as well. So we're poking through the trend line, retesting the trend line, retesting the horizontal level here as well, and the pivot. So there's quite a lot of confluence, and I'm sure we'll get something off a Fibonacci level as well. But let's see. Yeah, not too bad. 38.2% retracement off this fib here, and the 50% up there. So we're kind of between two levels. So there's no setup in as much that I'm waiting for a bar to get in. This is my entry bar, if you like. This is the one that I'm interested in. As soon as it breaks, um, with my opinion, if you like, with my counsel that I believe that the euro is going to weaken, then I can just put an order in the market and try and get the best possible price. Now, this might well end up being the best possible price, but it could be just a little bit higher. We might get the daily pivot seen one more time. I don't know, but it looks good. That looks like it's breaking down. Now let's see if this is a euro story or whether it's a dollar story, and so we can do some digging to find out what's going on. Right, so obviously the best way to do that is let's have a look at the other charts. The pound is not suggesting that it's a dollar story because the pound is still strengthening, so that's not backing that up. The Aussie the same. We didn't see a massive move to the downside, and what we should be seeing is this right across the board. So far, 3 out of 2 are all suggesting that that it's not anything to do with the dollar, but maybe to do with the euro. But yes, this is under a level as well. And actually, you could probably argue that particular point. Let's just take this down just a little bit more. There's the 15-minute the last 15-minute move, then a 15-minute move back to the upside. Let's see what there was with the euro. Yeah, it's quite different actually. So I'm not sure whether that's a dollar story or a euro story, but the two charts that we're looking at with the well, there was a little bit of downside against the dollar there. Let's just check the Kiwi. Yeah, looks a bit of downside there on the 15. So if we're sort of like mining right in, dollar moves to the upside against the CAD there. Bit of downside there against the Swissy, so maybe it is a dollar story. So let's find out what that was and whether that's likely to get some follow through in a moment. But let's just double check on the euro. Yeah, euro actually against the Aussie's weak, against the CAD is weak. So it looks to me like it's more to do with the euro than it is the dollar. We're seeing, yeah, the euro's pretty weak. So let's do some digging. Hey SF, hey Lewis. Let's see what we have. So quickly to Forex Factory to start with and see whether this is any good. For telling us what's going on, giving us a bit of an idea. Let's make sure that's out the way. Sorry, I've just lost my questions. Get rid of that. Oh, where's the question box gone now? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we can get this questions box up. I see there was a question that came in and I can't find the questions box. All right, maybe it'll turn up. Maybe it'll turn up. I can't find my questions box right now. Where it's deciding to hide, I have no idea. Let's get rid of that. All right, I apologize for whoever it is that's asked the question. I can't seem to find where the box is, but I'll come back to it. I will find it. Okay, let's have a look through anyway. So up next, just so we'll make sure we're on the right day. Right, so we saw already the move happen in the last few minutes. Wasn't that long ago. So CPI out of France is one thing that is not suggesting that there could be some euro tightening, and we also see PPI. So Switzerland is in the same situation. Trade balance from Italy, actually much surprise there. So a pretty good going there. Aside from that, nothing really. I mean, the UK numbers are pretty poor, so maybe it's a Brexit story. I was watching my news terminal, and I don't see on the news terminal what that might be. I will have another quick look. Downsizing. No, so I don't really know exactly what that move was down to. I had a quick listen to Bloomberg as well, and they didn't say. So maybe somebody can enlighten me when it comes down to why the euro might be just that little bit weak, just for that one little period there. I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but we do see the move in the market anyway. So that might be a bit of a trigger that could start to see the euro dollar weaken significantly enough. I don't know, but what I'm looking to do is continue to build into this. So this could go a little bit higher and I'd still be quite comfortable. If it goes up to this point up here, then I'm still quite comfortable to sell it off. So I've got quite a way really before it looks like about another 30 pips or so. Yeah, about another 30 pips to the upside, and I'm still a seller at that particular point. No problem with that. Maybe maybe it's going to be around about 1.23 would be around about the right level for me to take some more positions in and try and short this one off. And when I'm thinking about the structure, I'm just looking to see if, firstly, we test this level, then secondly, can we get through and test this level? Now, I like this level a lot more because of what we've got with the horizontal levels. But let's just quickly check a fib as well. We don't have a lot to go on, but the fib drags us nicely down there, 38.2% retracement. So this would be the take profit area, and it probably would be a close all, or certainly close the majority of the position, because I don't have any major confidence in the dollar. I've just got a little bit of negativity with the euro, and a tiny bit of confidence coming into the end of the year, maybe this week. Now let's just have a look at gold and silver as well. So gold is actually having a pretty good day, and I could certainly see why the gold bulls would start to get a bit more excited about this particular level, because it looks to me like the inverted head and shoulders is formed now. That looks around about long enough for the inverted head and shoulders. So can't trade gold myself. It's just a little bit too much of a concern for me. But I could certainly understand the picture of why people would want to trade gold with the seasonal aspect so strong. And I might well miss out on that trade. Now we're going to be looking at cryptos shortly, so let's just have a quick look around some of the spaces with the equities as well. I'm just going to bring in that WTI SF. I will check. Good one to look at. Let's have a look. Actually pretty good as well, isn't it? Pretty good going with WTI. There is certainly some concern. So in the UK overnight, we've had an announcement that London is going to go into a tier 3 lockdown, and that has really spooked the markets in the UK. And if you look at what's happening with the FTSE 100, FTSE 100 is weakening quite significantly at the minute. You know, it's dropped down, well, around about 2% from the highs. Maybe it's not that significant, but I'd like a bit lower, because really I want to buy into the FTSE 100, but I would like a little bit lower down. And looking on these charts, the monthly is the area that I'm looking at. So this would always be my first port of call when I'm looking at any charts, any products. I'd always look at the monthly first and drag out a level and see if there's any likelihood that we come down to this particular level. I mean, that will be probably, you know, near a 5% drop to the downside, but the move to the upside has been so aggressive. I think that is more than likely to happen. So down in this area, I'll be looking up to pick the FTSE 100 up. Now, if I flip down to some shorter term timeframes, where does the weekly chart suggest that level is? And is there some confluence there? Well, there's a few levels on the weekly. There's this one here, which has been tested once and rejected once, so that could be a building position. This is the other one, so we're right on top of this one. So we get through this level, it would suggest we come down to the next one. We get through that, it would suggest we come down to the next one, and then maybe it's change a trend after that. On the dailies, then we start to see that this particular level needs probably a bit of tightening up. There's a level over here, but this level here and this level, most recent level of support, is suggesting that this is probably needing to come just a little bit lower. So so erring on the side of caution of a long entry. I'd tighten that area up to that, and then I'd want to go back to my monthly and see what that looks like now. That still looks okay on the monthly. On the weekly, yeah, that still looks okay. A little bit below, but that still looks okay. So, looks to me like the area to try and go long on the FTSE is still another 200 pips below where we are. And I'd feel the same as I do about gold. I want it lower, but I won't trade it down to that level, because the move to the upside has been very strong. And we are in a kind of seasonal move to the upside with the FTSE as well. So I'm not too keen to reverse the position here. But it does look weak. Now let's have a think about what's going to drag us down, and some barometers that we might want to look at that would suggest some downside in the FTSE. And the first one I would want to see is, how's the VIX looking? So let's bring the VIX in. Here's the VIX. And yesterday's bar, look at that engulfing bar yesterday. Now, I said yesterday about the VIX. You see the VIX jump 20%, then you need to take notice and recognize that volatility has picked up. So the previous day's closing price was there at 22.60. A 20% jump in that is going to be to around about 26, isn't it? Which is almost there. It's almost there. It's not quite. You know, so going from 22.40, that means you know, a 10% jump is obviously 2.2. So a 20% jump by that is going to be 4.4. So 4.4 above the 22.4 is going to be 26.8, and 26.8 is about here. It's about there, and it didn't quite get there. Interestingly, it's this level of resistance here. So if the VIX jumps above this particular point, we need to sit up and listen, and which would account for not only 20%, but probably a break of the downside structure of the bearish pattern here. So the VIX isn't suggesting anything, hugely interesting, if you like, when it comes down to volatility. But there is a bit of a pickup. But let's keep our eye on the VIX just in case that does pop up a bit further. The dollar index, we were just talking about the dollar and what's been affected there with the euro. Dollar index still in the doldrums, really, still in a downtrend. Dollar index is going to need to break through this area here for me to have any confidence that we are actually going higher. So got to take out the highs, got to take out this level. If you don't have a dollar index chart, TradingView is one place you can find it. But just look at the dollar Swissy, very, very similar when it comes down to a chart. And with the dollar Swissy takes out that 0.8 probably 0.89, I think would be safe. Takes out 0.89 and lives above it for a while, then you know, a day or so, then that would suggest that that we might be getting some strength in the dollar. Now, sorry, I was going to go and have a proper look at WTI, wasn't I? Let's have a look. Okay. Where are you, WTI? And it's called something different. Here we go, XPI. Right, come on then, let's do some analysis on WTI and where we're at. So again, we're going to start with a monthly chart. Don't need to do that. Is it in an uptrend? I think if we think about the trend line coming from high to low here, we can probably be fairly safe that that is the trend line to the downside. And we are through that trend line. We got through it here. We made a low, but that trend line has picked up. So, you know, I think we could certainly argue that that WTI is looking like it's bottoming out here, and we want to shove a box around it. So this is probably the level that we get confirmation that WTI is confirmed as trading back to the upside. It's probably maybe a box like that. It's a bit of a difficult one. Could even be a channel, another channel here. Let's have a look. The bottom side of it's fine. Yeah, that's about right. So there's your channel on WTI. So WTI or XTI that you have needs to take out this high at 1083, and if it gets above that area, so it gets around about the 11 area, then I think that we can start saying that WTI on retracements is decent to go to the upside on a longer term time frame, longer term basis. Now, if we bring the weekly chart in and try some analysis on this one, we can definitely see that the weekly chart is now confirmed a trend to the upside. So that there's the trend line, the intermediate trend line. So on the intermediate basis, this is going long. And what I'd want to see with WTI is, can it return and hold this level and meet the trend line? So we're looking at 960 probably for some upside. It might well bang its head against this ceiling for a little while. So we'd be looking for a retracement before we go long, or I certainly would anyway. And it would probably match what's happened with the FTSE. And I'd quite like to see what's going on with the other indices in a moment and see whether that has got any bearing. No real test here either. You know, this has been dragging itself forward, just easing its way up with no real test. So I think if it could settle along here somewhere, come back down again, but settle somewhere near the trend line and this level here, then we may well have something to trade. Let's just pull up a fib as well. The fib is suggesting that same area here. So 960 looks pretty good for a 50% retracement of the current move. So if it starts to break these lows, I'd be looking for 960 to be tested with WTI. It's just not an attractive level for me to trade long here, if I'm honest. There does seem to be further pandemic worries out there, which could actually start to diminish some, further some of the travel that people are going to be using oil for. So I wonder whether the demand is still a little bit weakened with XPT, sorry, oh, sorry, that's the wrong chart. That's not XTI. That's platinum. Oh, hold on a second. I don't need to do it on this one. Sorry, this one I can look at WTI. The problem, the reason I've got confused here is that this one doesn't give us WTI. It gives us XTI. So let's go back and check this again. I'm going to check it for you guys on this chart because I know you don't have WTI. Right, is WTI in an uptrend on the monthly? No, it's not. So this is a very different look. So there's the trend line there, the most recent move to the downside. On the weekly, there is a trend line to the upside here. So it's very, very steep, but there is a trend line there. And on the minor trend, on the intermediate, sorry, on the smaller move, there's a little trend line there as well. So, I'd feel the same about this as I would about platinum. I'd still want some downside with XTI, WTI, and that area there at 43 looks correct. I did think that WTI was showing me some odd numbers, but I'm not used to trading it on this platform. So I thought maybe it was it had a weird multiple. That area there looks right. So 43.34, and that would meet that trend line as well. If this starts to come down, that would meet in that particular trend line. Now there are two fibs on this that we could draw. We could draw this lower one to the high point, the overall trend so far, and that would lead us down here at a 23.6% retracement, and a big drop down there would probably just about qualify for the trend line. And there's also this one here. Now that one looks better because a 38.2% retracement brings us down to the same sort of thing, around about 43. So looks a little bit elevated, and it looks like it could come down. If it's going up, it's going to probably be bashing its head against around about the 56 level. Could be a little bit lower depending on when it got up there and whether it meets this this horizontal level here. So 55, 56 looks like a decent target, but a little retracement first would be useful with XTI before moving higher. Now let's just quickly check the other indices. Now we know that that we haven't really got a full picture from the VIX just yet. Bring the VIX back up here. We haven't got a full picture on the VIX as yet, so we're still looking for a bit more clarity to see whether the VIX can pop this level. And until it does, we can't really have that much confidence that that the other markets are going to be dropping with any kind of aggression or significance. But let's just have a look what we've got. The ASX 200, so the Aussie 200, still looking pretty good right now. It's treading water, but it's still in positive territory. Looks like the Hang Seng looks pretty good as well. That's a half decent boost today. Few worries on travel restrictions are probably going to be coming back into play in Spain, but the IBEX is flat. Look at that, completely dead there. Eurostoxx 50 actually posting some positive returns as well. The CAC is posting positive returns. Germany's posting positive returns. All of these are at significant levels up here. This is the DAX, very close to its all-time highs. That so far it hasn't managed to break. Sorry, that's the Hang Seng. Yeah, Hang Seng having a bit of a flat day as well. Looks a bit negative, because it's at the top end of its range, but it has broken through this closing price here, so it doesn't look awful. The yen, sorry, the Nikkei continues to push to the upside. The Nasdaq continues to push to the upside. Nothing seems to be wanting to bring that one down, and the FTSE. Sorry, let's bring these into different time frames here. That's all right. That's all right. Hang Seng is okay. Yeah, that's holding. This is a head and shoulders pattern or an M topping pattern here, and it's right on the neckline. So suggestion of upside for the Hang Seng. There's the Nikkei. Sorry, there's the Nikkei still holding ground. There's the Nasdaq looking to get back to its highs again, but a very negative looking bar there. And I quite like the Nasdaq for some downside. FTSE is breaking even, if you like, on the day with that doji bar. There's the Dow, that's another very negative bar. So it's a bit negative in this area. And what this is suggesting is the market is just waiting for something to allow it to go higher. And that something is probably the stimulus package, which hasn't come yet. Now we know we've also got some meetings this week. We come quickly back to Forex Factory. What have we got this week that could change the picture one way or the other? Flash services PMI, interesting from the Eurozone. This comes out weaker. Then we might well see some weakness in the euro. So we're looking at flash services and manufacturing PMIs, and I suspect these may well be, particularly Germany, may well be weaker than the previous print. I mean, we're seeing here that the forecast is for a little bit weaker on both. I wonder whether it might beat it to the downside, because Germany have had to take some further restrictions. So we might start to see a little bit of weakness with the euro because of these numbers. Now, if you remember what we were looking at with the seasonalities all suggested that tomorrow is the day to try and short some of these currencies against the dollar. So I wonder whether this could be our catalyst. And if the seasonals are to kick in, this does need to be the catalyst, and we could actually get a pretty decent run to the downside, particularly with the euro. Now, you might choose you might prefer to wait for these numbers to be released, which I think will be fine. I think you're still going to get opportunities. That they're not so significant that the market's going to gap down or anything. But that could be a catalyst. Now, if they surprise to the upside, then I would be looking for that next level with the euro dollar to weaken rather than looking here. We also get some big numbers out the States. So flash manufacturing were from the States. Forecast as well to be a bit weaker. These ones I've found have been the more surprising. And actually, that a lot of them have surprised to the upside. So I'm not too sure about that, whether that's going to weaken. I think Germany looks a bit clearer to me. Germany, I suspect, probably will be weaker. Not so sure about the States. Then we get the FOMC statement. So big number out of that. Yeah, big number from there, and also the federal fund rates as well. GDP from New Zealand quarter on quarter. I didn't realize there was a big number going to be printed this week from that, but lots coming out actually. Lots coming out towards the end of the week. Federal funds, sorry, the monetary policy statement also from the UK on Thursday. I wonder what sort of effect that will have, considering Brexit is the main game in town. But we'll see. Actually, quite a lot. Look at that from the yen monetary policy statement. So it really is. It is monetary week this week, and I wonder who ends up winning the battle. And I suspect what we really need to do is get a decent feel of these numbers, because they're all kind of doing the same thing at the minute, where they're all battling to weaken their currency to make themselves competitive. But if the euro, let's say, is worse than the US when it comes down to manufacturing, then I think that probably will have the bearing. So the question of who should weaken next, or who might stay there longer, will be a little bit clearer. So we'll see where we're going with that. Right, so we will also be looking at some crypto. So let's just quickly check the crypto space very quickly. Quickly check gold. Did we check gold? I think we did. Gold having a decent day. Sorry, yes, we did check gold. Gold having a really good day today, actually. Yeah, currently up $29, almost $30 from the low, which is a decent print. So near enough, just getting close to a 2% jump in gold on the day. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Gold definitely needs to take this area out. We'll see what this level looks like in comparison to the low. Looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So that's the pattern on gold. That's the channel pattern on gold, which would suggest that we could get 1915 over the course of the next couple of days with gold. We know about the seasonal aspect with gold, and I would have thought the bulls are probably going to be starting to come into this. Let's see if there was a setup on gold. Down. Have we had a break and a retest? Not on the 4-hour. This would be the area it would need to retest to get us back in. And that hasn't happened. Pretty strong level as well. So we've had a burst through that area without any retracement. So 1836 looks like the price on gold. Sorry, these are the futures. These aren't any good for you guys. Let's go to a gold chart for you instead. Here we go. So we go back to the 4-hour. Now on the 4-hour, it's this area here, 1833. Not too different to the futures actually, but 1833 looks like the price on gold that we're looking for buy signals if you so choose to get into gold. That may well coincide with a trend line as well. Well, it's going to be pretty tight. I mean, that's going to need a drift to the downside in the next 2 or 3 hours, which could happen. But if it does that, then you're probably looking at this trend line. You're looking at this horizontal level, and let's see if there's a fib there as well. And I guess what we should probably do. There is a fib down here. There's 61.8% retracement, which is really important because that's really the last Fibonacci level that can hold. That's going to give us and continues to give us that upside. Let's just check the pivots on gold and see if they are in agreement with the 1833. Little bit higher, 1835 on the monthly, a little bit lower on the daily at 1828. You probably wouldn't want the monthly taken out if you're looking for upside. So this area here looks like the sweet spot right now for gold. Little bit higher than the price point, which is a bit tricky, but you know it does look like it's here. If it ends up above this point, then no doubt buying is going to come in at the weekly pivot. And that might well be the best possible price, within the run. But I wouldn't personally want to get in there. I'd be much more interested in the monthly pivot if I was trading it long. As Shukri is still on every Tuesday. Yes, he is. He's coming in right now. Shukri, are you with us? I believe he's there.
I am, and it's a great day.
Oh, I do like a great day. Why is it a great day?
Major announcement today on ADA.
Oh, amazing. Well, and now you got my attention.
Simon has done a 4x, 4 times, okay, on his IDO, Spider Dow.
Nice. Nicely done, Si. Well done, mate. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, well, we're going to hear about that. So,
I think they're giving the Brits an advantage because you guys want to go out of Europe before you guys get kicked out of Europe.
Well, we need something, mate. Yeah, we need some help somewhere along the line.
Something, right?
So I lost track of time, mate. Well, I want to hear all about ADA, and I want to hear all about Simon's 4X as well. So
they're all related, exciting stuff on ADA, and finally, it could still be a head fake.
Oh, really?
This time is for real. I think this time is for real.
Is ADA likely to go at any point to $10? That's my big question.
Not yet, but it's going to go up by a lot.
Okay.
4 to 5 times.
Okay. All right. That's good enough for me, mate.
They're doing something right.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. All right. Well, let's hear all about ADA because I actually added some positions with ADA last week, so I do want to I do want to hear some good stuff about that one. But let's wrap this one up then, mate. We will say goodbye to everybody in the room. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow at the normal time. But we've got to hear from Shukri because he's got some important news about some crypto. So,
big
Geoff,
news on ADA.
Oh, this is music to my ears. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
I'll announce it to you tomorrow, but today we're going to announce the detail, and today we have the implications of that news. The news is big, but the implications are even bigger.
Amazing. All right, buddy. All right, so I will say goodbye to everybody else.